Hello, sport fans. So, this video is about subqueries, but I just want to touch it briefly. This is actually a pretty complex topic, deserving of its own 2 or 3 video series. But I want to introduce it because when we do a group by query, as we've been working with, when you do a group by query, it starts to get cumbersome. So what's the problem, Featherman? What's the problem? Well, the problem is, for example, this summing the line totals. So I want to calculate profit, but you can't use the alias in the same query. It just won't let you. So you have to use the formula to do the calculation. So the problem is you can't use the alias. And now what are you going to do here? Count sales ID. So I want to do number of line items divided by number of invoices to get, I think, average number of line items per invoice. So that's shopping cart width for you marketers or marketing analysts. How many different SKUs are people buying? That's pretty important. Are people coming into the store? Imagine you were looking at data at different times of the day. When people come in at lunchtime, are they buying on average 2 or 3 things? When they come in at 5 to 7 p.m., are they on average buying 10 or 20 things? So knowing how many different SKUs people buy and the bundling of those SKUs is very, very important. So anyway, but look at this bah humbug. That's kind of hard to calculate because you cannot use the alias. So what's the problem? You cannot use the alias of the calculated field in further calculations, in further metrics formation. So we have a solution for you. So let's go ahead and do that. What you do is you take your query and put a parentheses in front of it, and you put a parentheses at the bottom of it, and I like to type as subquery 1. And you could have different levels to this, so you could have 2 or 3. And then at the top, we're going to put in, so I have that, maybe I don't, hang on. I have, well, this is the original version of the fixed query, so let's take a look. So again, you have a query, and then you're like, well, I want more advanced metrics. I want to use these aliases in subsequent metrics. So I would call these level 1 metrics, and now I want to use these metrics in the formation of other metrics. And so there's levels to the metrics, and so this can get very verbose very quickly, and code that's got too many letters and numbers there is easily messed up. So this is to simplify things. So how do you make a subquery? Take your select statement, wrap it in parentheses. I like to indent them, by the way, and then give it a as and some type of alias name. I just use subq1. Now, by the way, you can highlight all of these and hit tab, push it over, or shift tab, push it back. And now we're going to have levels of our queries. By the way, why do you call it a subquery? Because you have another query on top, another select statement on top. So line 4 says, yeah, give me all those columns generated by the original subquery. And by the way, you cannot have an order by in the subquery, so I pulled it out and put it down there. Don't believe me? Go ahead and write this code and put your order by there, and you'll see. So this is a subquery, and then you wrap it in cellophane and parentheses, and then on the top of it you put a select star from. And so select star from, and this order by is optional. But you notice how I made a pretty good effort to have indentation levels. So that's a subquery, because it has its own select statement. And we are going to use subqueries in different areas. But the main point of this video is this total revenue alias can now be used in another calculation. So now we can use the aliases to do a calculation. So whereas before we had to do count this column divided by count distinct that column, and once you start doing something a little advanced, it gets very messy very quick. So we're going to go into this quite a bit, but I thought I'd just touch it today. So when you're making group by queries, probably you're making a lot of metrics. That's the beauty of a group by query. You specify the dimension, and then you design all the columns of metrics you care about for that dimension. Now the problem is when you're creating all those metrics, sometimes it's going to get very verbose, and you want to have level 1, level 2, level 3 metrics, meaning you want to use your metric you created perhaps as the numerator of the next level metric. And once you start getting advanced here, this can be a lot of typing. So wrap your code in a subquery. Some people even like to do this to put it in your face. So I think C# coders like doing this. So you can see, oh, okay, there's a parentheses. I better not forget that parentheses and give it a name. Now I've gotten used to it. But this is one level of query, and then the select star means, hey, give me all those columns and comma. I'm going to make a new column. I'm going to make a new column, and you can have 5 more new columns, as many as you want. But the main point here is, if you're going to start having like level 2 metrics like an average skew, it's much easier to take your code, put in a subquery, and then continue on and use those aliases in the next level. Now there's another way of doing this called CTE, common table expressions. That's with a SQL statement with a with statement, and you'll see some people love those, some people like doing it like I'm showing you. So it may behoove you to learn both at some point. I would just stick with what I'm showing you, and you can confuse yourself if you know too many ways to do the exact same thing. However, that's totally up to you. Alright, so what's a subquery? Well, you have 2 select statements. And why are we doing this? Well, we want to use the formulas in additional formulas, and that's it. So select star from, and then this comma here, you can add more, add more, add more, add more, and that greatly simplifies the creation of what I call level 2 or 3 more advanced formulas. And that's enough for this video. Take care.